I'm one of the founding members sa Botswana Musicians Union. Re simolotse Botswana Musicians Union ka registered ka 2001. Re na le bo Soka Morua Khomo, Alfredo Mose, bo Taulo Moshaga, bo Nkgopolen Tlhomelang, the guy who it's X-Cut Edge.
No, group man, una mpha lights.
Yes, what the lights. Yes. We are founding members.
Yes, sir.
And then ke simolotse yala mo committee ya teng ke le an additional member. Go itlhalla ke nna a vice president ya BOMU. Ile ka 2006 ke be ke nna president. Ke nna president ya BOMU 2006.
Yes, sir.
For 3 years, and then ke be ke tlogela ka 2005, 6, ke tlogetse ka 2008.
Yes, sir.
Ke be ke tlogela time ya me hela, and then ke be ke tlogela ba tswelela jalo.
What was the founding reason for BOMU?
The founding reason ko re ne ke ile a re go gonyana hale 98 or 97 ga be go nna le show engwe ile ya di corporas. This show ya di corporas be go ra re show e tsentse di artists ne le gore ne tota bontseletse tswang ka kontle. Tsene ile ka kon di sa includiwa. Ra bo ra go ikuela go the then vice president ne His Excellency Ian Khama. By then ne santse le vice president. Aba ra kana mme go nna le tla le ikuela le group ya le sena mokgatlo e leng gore le tla le ile le ntse la lona. Go witna effort ya lona. It's best le nna le mokgatlo o e leng gore o ka kgona gore ha go nna jana e be le gore ko no le buelelang pele ga lona le ka tla le ntse le ipuela le nosi. That's where now we formulate BOMU.
Yes, sir.
Because we took about 3 years to formulate it. Ka gore ne go twe ke ile a rena ko ngwe ka bo 80 something ga nna le another association in area music go te Botswana artist musicians what.
Yes, sir.
So re be re ka gore ga to go ile ga register another organization. Let's meet with those guys e be re bona gore re ira ya. But go yone ne gona le bo Chamza Rampholo Molefe, may his soul rest in peace. Gona le bo Duncan Senyatso, may his soul rest in peace. Gona le bo le Kofi Sijeso,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Gona le bo Honorable Rakudu. Then be re tla re ba bitsa re na le bona ha base. It wasn't easy. Gore ba convince go ba ra no na re batla re so se sengwe hela. Ska ya nna gore ba ngo ba hale even though re itse gore ya lona ntse isule. Ne sa re ska ra dira ye hela re sa le re itse gore a re tla re kopaneng. Ba dire ko mara ba kgona gore re tla re kopana no rira an association e nngwe hela e be go formulate wa yone BOMU.
Of different identities. Podcast with BSCAR.
Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome to another edition of the PODICAST, coming at you straight from Leo's Inn right here in Gaborone. I am your host, SCAR, and as usual, we have another heavyweight of BW's music and culturally here, like a big name when it comes to BW entertainment. It comes to sports, if it comes to church, if it comes to music, all of it, okay? But before I get into that, shout out Leo's Inn for always holding us down, man. And as you can see, because it's weather, I got like my amazing Botswana BK Proctor windbreakers on. So make sure that you go over to the BK Proctor shops that are over there, Kakobo, Grand Palm. There's one at Fairgrounds Mall. There's one out in Palape. So make sure that you go and, get some BW flavor, especially because we're about to get into the AFCON. So, get all of your black, blue, and white in all kinds of designs that you need, okay? But like I said, we have a heavyweight in the house, ladies and gentlemen. someone that I listened to when I was a younger kid out of Molepolole. We were really, really proud because, we had a Molepolole and playing on the airwaves. And he produced his own music. And we were just all so proud. I remember my uncle Dimpo is the one who put me onto him because he was a guy who used to sing at church a whole lot. So he felt like nearly gangster le tape ya gago. So played it until it broke. Okay, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, a hero of ours right here. Without wasting your time, Bafana Phempheretlhe Peto. Give it up. Dumelas, eh?
Dumelas.
How are you, sir?
No, I'm good in yourself.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Like generally, where are you coming in from?
No, I'm just doing fine.
Yeah.
Maybe to introduce myself.
Yeah.
Ke bidiwa doctor.
Oh,
Phempheretlhe Bafana Peto.
I saw somewhere that you were graduating. That was your doctorate, huh? Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Congratulations, big homie.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when did you get your doctorate?
Last year August.
Yeah.
I've been honored by the University of Johannesburg University from United States.
Mm-hmm.
It also has a branch in Zambia.
Okay.
Yeah, they honored me with the honorary doctorate in music.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Come on. Yo, I think that should be the premise of our conversation. But first of all, congratulations. So there's 2 doctors in the house now.
Yeah, 2 doctors in the
What's the
house.
whole wiki? Dr. Figaela, but the Dr. PMP. That must be like also the level for the kids now.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just pushed it up a bit more. But music, Mobotswana, I mean, why are we only getting an honor from the United States? Why would we seen you being celebrated that much in Botswana? Seeing like Agibua, you are one of the first Motswana Yuki album, even before the ones that opened the door for us in hip hop. The first, literally, you make mona tape ya gago e le teng re eletsa go lapeng.
Yeah.
So why do you think there's no such honors out here for musicians like yourself?
I think maybe in our country it's not popular to honor some of the works. Some of the pioneers of politics and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Maybe with time, let's hope they will try and honor some of the works.
Yes, sir.
Like if batho ba bantsi ba dirile mo harologaneng but ba impactile the nation.
Yes, sir.
Maybe re tla goroga ko gore go ska ga lebelwa ntlha ile nngwe hela. Yes.
I love that. I mean, you are one of the first completely. And I'm trying to imagine, like, when you were growing up in Botswana, did you ever think you would be as popular as you became? More musicking? Was music your first love?
Yeah, let me say yes, because tota ke o simolotse ke le ko sekolong ga di noto la mone re patelediwa go opela ko sekolong, but na e be ke developa lerato le lentsi. I sang for boys choir at standard 3H.
Okay.
Jalo hela be ke tswella go itlhelanong ke tsana ko kerekeng. I'm a Christian. Ke tsana ko kerekeng ke joina church choir. Ke be ke tla mo Simon sa gore be ke ithuta go tshameka diletswa. Ke tshameka ta selo se go teng keyboard. And then ke be ke tswella jalo ke nna ke developa lerato la moopelo, and then go itlhala ke nna le my own compositions jalo hela. Me gongwe ga ke ka introduce
Ke feel like no, I get go music because I'm always intrigued about we produce it, we programmella, all of that. But I think we guys similar because I think I do so many of these interviews. Sometimes I rush. But let's just to introduce where did you grow up? Where did you go to school?
My mother was a teacher, and when I did study transfer, it's a mahalela go itlhala re boela mo Molepolole ko lisi ke be ke a kharisitshela, and then ke be ke tla ke my first netlane ke I'm an auto electrician.
Okay.
And then I'm a developer. Ke a go agela, ke be ke go rekisetsa ntlo anto ntha gore ke na le madi ke ya ke batla go nkagela ntlo tsa through the process ke go gakolla nka go gakolla nteng.
Where did you learn all of these trades?
Ga go developa ke develop your interest hela mo gonna ke be ke ithuta mo bathung hela ke ithuta gore mme gone what's the process of doing that and ke be ke hela ile gore anong ke a go tshwara and then ke a go dira. I'm also in transport and logistics. Ke transporta batho jalo jalo. And I'm a music producer.
Yes, sir.
I'm a composer, a music writer, I'm a performer.
Yes, sir.
I'm an event organizer.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No, this is why we got you on the show, because I think there's a lot about you saying I mean, they'll see you about football or sometimes handle press conference. So Franco.
Exactly.
So I think you are a face that everyone always wonders where have I seen that face? But for someone like me, we had your tape. Sounding, because sounding is so saying but I still want to dabble into why what's in so much business. Is it something paying or the hunger, if I should say, to be a multifaceted business person?
I think ke godile ka sone. Ke being a firstborn ko lapeng. I kere ha ona le bomogolo, somebody will look at bomogolo, but when I as a firstborn, gantsi o lebella dio tse dintsinyana o bo lebella se leng gore go mo dumela gore se ka go tsagale sa go isa hale, because a gona sepe se leng gore o tla renya me somebody there o ka dira se a ntirela sone. O lebile gore wana kwana o ka iphušetsa dilo tse dingwe. So ne ke fila gore one totala go focus mo musicing o le no se ga se gone, and then ke be ke khona go lebella gore me ke se ka se dirang, but still se sa gone go disturb in my music career. So e be ke bona gore all these things I can manage without interference. The career e leng gore ke dumela gore ke yone ka puetseng le tsere nkare ke pitso. Ke pitso. I live music. Ke khona gore batho ba robale, and then na ka bo 11 e be ke tsoga ke dira sengwenyana ke sa ke gore sa ka tsoga ka selebala re phakela be ke se tsweledisa ke se tsaya ke se package na one thing, and then ke be ke tswelela. So I live music.
Definitely.
Yes.
There's very few people who can say that, and I believe. But I really do believe, because when we listened to your project, like back in the day, we didn't know how you were making instruments, because but all we knew was that music South Africa were always just or maybe kwasa here and there, but not the Capricorn. They were the ones that were prominent. For you to end up in a studio, I mean, take us through that. Who believed in your talent? When I got to know crying and all of that, how did you get to a point where you were at a studio? Take us through that. Hello, Simola, from someone identifying talent to a point where you ultimately find yourself for a record.
Which
church was it? Trinity?
No, initially I was going for Anglican church. But Anglican,
why do I assume Trinity?
I don't know. Maybe I was mingling mostly with Trinity people. But I was going for Anglican church. But Anglican church in Basa Dumala and stuff like that. Then I moved to Holiness Union Church. Whereby the church now plays music, plays instruments. So the keyboards. So I compose my songs. I rendered items again during the church services. But when we discovered this thing can be something. Then you can record this, and this can be something that make you live. Record some of my pieces. More radio, I think around 93, 94. Keyboard and mic, and then at the radio station.
RB1. Do you remember the people who picked you up, like by and large, identified you and said, "Yo, I think this guy from Olepolle from Holiness Union Church, I think this is the guy for us to take record some of his compositions."
There is one guy called Morakakgoro. Morakakgoro, I take him as my brother, my elder brother.
No,
Yeah.
The poet.
Yes, sir. Tsene Anglican mmogo ra tsena Holiness mmogo. Ke na nthutlwetsa mo dintsi dintsi go hela ke recorder. And then le ko radioong ha ke sena ke recorder but tshameka thata mo rudisa mo ya and stuff like that. So ha ke sena ke recorder now ke tswa ka album. Is the same Morakakgoro e leng gore ona nthutlwetsa thata gore ke go recorder. And it was not popular for a Motswana to record an album.
Yes, sir.
Remember, ke ne ke kata di cassette by then. Ke ne ke di kata ko EMY.
Okay.
So Batswana bana ba di amogela. That one I should point out.
Yes. No rekisa. Yeah. Oh, that's an understatement. You had the album, I'm sure. Yes, all. You guys had the album, huh? Hey, everyone knew, like. I think even before Franco Nelo and one of the biggest selling artists in the country.
But by then Franco Nelo dancer ko Alfredo Moss.
So you were the highest selling at that point.
Yeah, and then by EMY, how bona no ke ntse ke radio order tse dintsi na go ngwa ke ile go phika order ko EMY be banta ba re no director o na rile re ha gore go kopa go bona at least for 10 minutes. And then I went to the director's office sa ke tsena go ke monno a le buru a mpolela gore they want to partner with me gore ba distribute my music ke be ke na go atene ke sikene le kolo gore ha ke tswa ka ke a tsaya ke a go di combintsonetse so ke tse di box le 3 ano gore mo taxi ndi ana ka re na go ya cha ba re no re tla re go tshwara o le ka kwa and then no go sena di cell phone gore ke tshwantse go appointela mo go bang bo bana le landline gore ke go letela kholo ko ne a le tla ntshwara ka mosokana kwa gore
yes sir.
So asna ke bua le bone ba ntha ba re no re batla go rekela ticket gore o tle kwa so that we have a meeting with you re bone gore re ka dira jang ka bo amari ba nthekela ticket and then I flew to Joburg ke bantsa ko nele Johannesburg International Airport by then bantsa yes bantsa go ne ko e be re tsamaya ke tlhala bana ba maburu le makgoa and then le motho o montshwa le one they were 5 mampola gore ba batla go tsaya my recording gore ba distribute in Southern Africa. But problem in kana le one ne le gona gore I think the percentage ne ba batla go inela ne le ko class.
How much was they trying to give you?
Because they were looking at 8%. Be ba tloga ba renya at least 12%. Ke be ke nna gore ne ke lebeletse gore ha ke dira order say ke dira 2000 cassettes.
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks di tsamaile wa bona mme ke sa simol go tolo o tsere go sena di story le gore ke tsore ke madi a leng gore a tsile go nna otle ke be ke tswa ke baraka ga ise ke dumane me ke go lebella ke tatla ke boa after 3 weeks re tla re nape ke boela go go bone ba ntha ba re they can only go up to 15%.
Jesus
tota ke ntse ke gana ke re nona ke bata 30% at least
yeah.
So e be re palalana ko re ga ke itse gore le bone botlhale ba gore banna ba ska ba hella ba tsere cassette ya mi ka ntse ba tsere music ke ne ke botsa kae because at that time I could got excited ke be ke ba nela ke be no madi a tla tswa gape ke tla be ke itsere kwa le but I think ha ne ke skile ka gana e ka be sa ntirela jaaka ha intiretse
definitely
so ke be ke bua be gore no ke na ka no a re tsela gore go padile nna ke tla bereka go nna ke khatha di CD tsa me go lona because by then ne le bona ba eleng gore ne le batho ba khathang di CD ga mo go le bo cassette services and other companies that side
definitely.
So ke be ke boela kwana go itlhela ke nna ke tla ke recorda tse dingwe ke reng re tsena mo di CD-ing e be ke hetola yone the first album ya me ya le kunutu ya no ke tsenya mo di CD-ing gore
how much money were you making? That album was everywhere. Just give us an idea, Hela Brazil. In the 90s, how much money were you making out of music if you had to compare it to now? Can I Hela the amount that thing would maybe to 20-25 type levels?
Ga nka ke gakologelwa sentle me ke tsore ene njesa ene ya ha ke tsora o itse ha ne ke nna te mo block 3
Yes, sir.
e ntheketse se sa mo block 3 ka aga mo block 3 go le tsene ke tsama ka tsone ha di nthekela ka ira seng ka boa gape ka di-poster se tsa ko phakalane gompieno ke agile gone ko but e ne le kganya gore ke ne ke tshela hela go heta le batho ba nna ba bereka e ne ntshidisela kana ke kgona ke batla go tshela ka teng so but along the way be ke dumela gore I have to explore to other avenues se nka dirang madi ka tsone.
But this was how many albums in? When was the time you know to record on a regular level? Because I think there was a point where no release a whole lot, and then there was a point where no miss. Was this after your third album?
Yeah, when I can the album di le 8. Le di video di kana 2. Me tse dingwe le gore ke tsere di pina mo di album tse tsotlhe and then ke be ke dira. So ne ke I think ha ke tsa mo album ya bo 3. I went to the US ke go join my wife.
Yes, sir.
And then I took 3 years go US. But by that time ne ke misitse after my third album.
Yes, sir.
Ke ba re ke a break ke go US and then I came back after 3 years. Mela hacks na ona ke boa ga iso ke release regularly because ne ke gona bana gore ha gongwe di album di alo gore ha ke release album this time.
Yes, sir.
Ebe ke re no next year gape I'm releasing another one.
Yes, sir.
Ya go lwela market le gore ha gongwe batho they will take time gore ba utwa album ile be tsene mo go bone and then be le gona ba appreciate ba simolla go e reka ba reng maybe it will need 1, 2, 3 years or be by tsere bo ka no ya no ba e rekile and then that's the time I should now release another one. So ha ke tsa mo album ya boraro ha ke tswa go be ke ra bo 4 ke be ke simola no ke na le interval nyana tse di tellenyana ha gare to release ke lebile one se mo sone se sa gore ha go tla tlhe ka re o losa di album tsa gago.
Definitely.
Yes.
I can respect that. But even then, there was also this competition between you and the late Mmereki Morakakgoro. I want to know, were you guys friends? How was the competition? Because if it's not Mmereki, it's you.
Yeah.
And all of us knew, you guys were the top selling artists in the country. You were everywhere. Everyone, it was a peaceful time in the country. It was fashionable to love gospel music and to have it even playing in your car. So, relationship, Mmereki Morakakgoro, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, total Mmereki, ha ke simolla ke tshameka diletswa, seletswa sa keyboard. He's the one who inspired me. Yes.
Oh, he started before you?
He started before me. But I recorded before him.
Okay.
Yes. He recorded after me. And ke like o bolela story gore o dirile ang gore a khone gore a record. And go ke tlhalose gore Mmereki was more than my friend.
Yes, sir.
We were very, very close. Ra nna ditsala ra nna go heta ditsala.
Yeah.
Ko lapeng ko molepolole le ha ke so ke le kae ba tla mulela room ya me alala mo teng ha ke le go ga bone ko mauna tlala the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Ra gola jalo go itlhala re tlogela mabana ka 2023 re ntse re le very, very close. Ha ke sena ke record my first album o tla ke re ne inje sa reng abare o itse gore go ha yana ke tlo go tlhoka le gore ke go record so o nyetse ene ka 96.
Yes, sir.
So they were having a Cressida. A Cressida 2.4.
Yes, sir.
Ke be ke re me kana gore ke go thuse gore o ye go recorda go ra re lona le ntheisetse koloi and then with this money I ke reka nka one beletsa mala go recorda the first album yone album ya go ya Itsamo.
Yes, sir.
That's how he got recorded the first album ya gagwe.
Wow. The greatest song, one of the greatest songs to ever come out of BW. Yeah, no, I think this is the lesson for a lot of youngsters. You have to invest in your dream. So you guys, you were investing in all of this stuff from your pockets.
Yes, from my pocket. Actually, na ke recorder. I recorded from my pocket.
Yeah.
And then I kata the CD. First 500, not CD, first 500 cassettes.
Yes, sir.
And Mmereki was having a bantam, Ford bantam. Ele skropanyana ya. Ke be ke re kana ke stagano I've recorded my album but ke staga ke gone wa go kata di cassette.
Yeah.
Abara No, are rekise this thing. So re be re rekisa Fort Bantam.
Yeah.
Ya ga Morakakgoro. Ke gakula go la re ke mongwe wa le sole yana. We ke re nya tse kone madi ao e tla re ha ba se ba rekile a tla tsitse. And that's how I ended up going to cut my first 500 cassettes.
Wow.
Ke a tsere mo go ene le nna tso yana ke tla ke ra Mmereki go ra ora anong ka rona ke se ke rile sengonyana gore o ye go record me ke reke cresidi ya rona and then be ba tsama ba a khona go record ya gago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something to like live by, to invest in your talent. We try to tell people all the time, or you need to put up your own money. That's how commitment I don't know because you didn't have any influences. King sene towards business King sene still you know, this is the thing to do. Was it the first returns? Okay, this is something to pursue, and this is something
You know, as I told you, I mean, auto electrician. I get go school. Ke bona offer hoteng ka go thogalla go tsa bo. Then there was one guy yo re tlogetse maloba Tiruente Pheto. In ele headmaster ko Swaneng by then. Abantara tota nna ke dumela gore one music yo. By then ke a se go kena le kgwedi ke ntse ke release album ya ntse e rekisa anthar go mo ke gone mo go ka go tshetsa mo nna tota ke bona gore go a botsa bong e tla be le go a go senya nako hela so nako a teng gone go se fashionable gore motho o ka hetsa sekolo a ba simola a re o ka ipereka ne re itse gore o tshwantse gore ha o hetsa sekolo o ye go nna o ye go train as a police teacher and this seng ha o hetsa o ye go bereka but I took a risk ya gore nona gore ano a ka o bua ke simole ke focus mo go rekise music go mo e be go nna go encourage gore no go mo gore go ka nna tiro ke simola ke re ke hira batho ba ile gona ba gona gore ba tse di CD tseo di cast tseo ba ye go bogantsi ba ye go bo maung be go tla gore ke heletse ke dumela gore nka ira tiro ke heletse ke dumela gore go montsana nka hira batho and then e be go helala go tla go mpieno.
This is what's crazy. So, was there any government involvement in music and entertainment?
Nothing, zero.
There was absolutely nothing. But business in Edirech. You were performing weekly because I think you were one of the first people I saw. How often were you performing during those times?
Every month end ne re ra di shows tse pedi a ke re ne Arsenal ke recorda le bo Mpona Kedi bo Bleskit Isaac jalo then we grouped ourselves ra be re tsamalela ha tshile le gore inele kind of promoting our music and ke one mo no gira gore music wa rona o rekwe thata because gompieno ya la ke bua the only place is when ke perform go gone ke Shakawe but all these other places ke performile teng ha ne rira every month end re itse gore re na le show tse pedi ha re la ka Friday Saturday re ha Sunday re a bua jalo he and go ga tene go ira gore batho ba nne in touch with our music apart from the radio station promoting our music le rona ne re o pusha ka bo rona jalo and ha re tsena golo bogolo jang ko ne re gore na le di show teng ka Saturday morning re mo molong we promoting that show mo molong re unisa batho di CD and then 6 o'clock 7 o'clock the hall is packed.
We don't have the hall is packed good can I do goose people can we let we ramad more music in Botswana but still speaking on that high what happened to the gospel music space because like you say Mpona Kedi Phempheretlhe Pheto you know we had everyone but you know it was fashionable to go to a gospel show did you have people from outside the country come perform at your shows? It was usually just you guys. So why do you think decline more the sales the shows? What do you think changed for the environment I think?
Because I said ke go US ga ke bo ke tlhela gore banna ba ga rona ba setse ba neela marapo tshwene ba ne ba sala ba neela marapo tshweni yaanong tota fela go simolola o tsaya batho kwa o ba tlisa ga nne ba le teng most of that ne gona laanong ba bangwe ba re the imaging artist ba recorda hale even secular music now yaanong o simolola go nna appealing to the people go raya gore some of your clientele ya divertega ya go ba secular ba eng and then from there
secular being kwasa and bokwaito and bo hip hop
yes
ya di semolla di ntsha ditlhogonyana
tsa tsona ya di ntsha ditlhogo jalo and ha re nna ha batse that energy ene rena le yone bontsi alo ha se rena le yone
youthful energy
exactly
comes from
yes now go tsana technology le yone e simolla e tsa dilo tlhakanya jalo and then ba ra re simolla no rekisela ka pace e leng gore very slow very slow because of those things.
Was it because you were interested in other things? Because I think you were a pioneer by you leaving for the States, and don't you think in some way you were a leader and you pretty much left them alone, and a lot of the things that didn't nobody did, you were trailblazer in that regard. So by you bouncing, don't you think
maybe
a little bit of the blame is on you?
Maybe that could be the factor. Yeah.
Because you are the guiding light, pretty much.
Yes.
Lot of it.
No, that could be.
No, I a lot of weight. We just way better. So what type of recording systems are you guys using? Nearly analog, nearly to the workstation.
Yeah, nearly the workstation. Mostly analog.
So the analog. Boston
Boston Perikana ba tsile ba recorda ba tla ba seta di studio morago.
I'm trying to get a picture of
I was with Master D.
No, Master D.
Kana is immediately after Master D a boa ko UK aba a tlogela Sepodisi a ikemela. I recorded go Master D. Ke ena a recordile most of the guys ba recordile mpele like bone bo Alfredo Moss. Go tsong ho ga tsena le bone bo le basho le bo male bo manja
yes man
so ne adirisa workstation ele analog
it's Roland
yes exactly
so the take it aga go ne le tse dintseng yang did you just put the mic batsenya metronome and then you start performing, because a lot of your music sound performance based. It didn't sound like it was chopped up. It sounded like you performing the music.
Yes.
So no gamer throughout the whole set.
Yeah. Like okay, fine. Get tshameka a rhythm.
Yeah.
Ke a tshameka yotlhe go go hella. Ha ke tsenya ke scale ke a scale go tle go hella. Ha ke tswa ke tshameka bass yotlhe go go hella. And then from there as no ke tshameka all instruments now anong ke gone ke tlabeng ke tshameka ke opela yanong all those instruments in it, because nna sa dumele mo go chopiwa mo, but the jalo batho ba ngone go nna thata and a hella ene master di ha ba record a dira jalo. But now I was playing my songs all the albums na ke di tshamekile and ke sa dumele mo gore ha ga re go a chopiwa tla be go ta go joiniwa nyana ya
me that's what's going on right now. Motho o tsenya le hukulelo one, I want to be a fan abatsama ha tsa kwana yalla, I want to be a fan of na abatsama. So ka re di toki so how we so tsene mo di studio tse din chat, how we so go bona re majita ba ira yang ka that digital space, and aren't you interested in trying to release
no, some of my latest albums nikidirisa ni ile on digital and
definitely.
Yeah.
So your relationship with football, it's an hakayano. How
football ke tswa khakala ke rata. I played it ko skolong, and then I was a supporter ya Mashitao ka ko Molepolole.
Yes sir.
Yes. And then ke le supporter ya Township Prolase ke tso gona le Mashitao ka le Township Prolase.
Yes sir.
And then ka go South Africa ke le motho wa
Sandawana.
By that time ne ke se ke nne thata mo Arsenal. Ya no Arsenal tla ke ntse ke gola jana e gola le pelo ya mi. And then ha ke tla ke be ke le gore ke ha ke tla ke go dugela mo Gaborone ke develop le rato le tona thata gone mo Township Prolase ke supporter ke ya di gaming tsa teng gore. And then there's one guy le no na tswa mo Lepollo go te Somerset go buiwang yo ene gore na iteletse Township Prolase pele ba nthara o itse gore ke fila gore o tle gore thusa.
Yes sir.
ne ke sa dumele gore gone nka kgona go nna le inputing o yala mo footballong or anything ba re no rona re bone potential mo go rona re kopa re tlo re thusa mo football and then ke be ke tsena as a PRO go Township rollers from there after PRO gona na I'm the chairman at Township rollers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think we forgot to mention that part. Rodman is chairman, and we have you at the proper time. Before we even get into that one, I think football. You actually were elected president of the Botswana Music Union before BOMU Music. You were the president in 2013, I believe. How long Nana president for how long?
I'm one of the founding members sa Botswana Musicians Union. Re simolotse Botswana Musicians Union ka registered ka 2001. Re na le bo Soka Morua Khomo, Alfredo Mose, bo Taolo Moshaga, bon Kopolen Tlomelang, the guy when I did it ex-cut edge.
No, Robman, no party lights.
Yes, what the lights, yes. We are founding members.
Yes, sir.
And then Kisimono Tsela mo committee ya teng ke le an additional member. Go itlhalla ke nna a vice president ya BOMU. It like 2006. Ke be ke nna president. Ke nna president ya BOMU 2006.
Yes, sir.
For 3 years, and then ke be ke tlogela ka 2005, 6, ke tlogetse ka 2008.
Yes, sir.
Ke be ke tlogela time ya me hela, and then ke be ke tlogela ba tswelela jalo.
What was the founding reason for BOMU?
The founding reason gore ne ke le re go gonyana hale 98 or 97 ga be go nna le show engwe ile ya di corporas. This show ya di corporas be gore show e tsentse di artists ne le gore ne tota bontseletse tswang ka kontle tsene dile ka kon di sa includiwa ra bo ra go ikuela go the then vice president ne le His Excellency Ian Khama. By then ne santse le vice president abarara kana mme go nna le tla le ikuela le group ya le sena mokgatlo e leng gore le tla le ile le ntse la lona go witna effort ya lona is best le nna le mokgatlo o ile gore o ka kgona gore ha go nna jana e bile gore ko no le buelelang pele ga lona le ka tla le ntse le ipuela le nosi. That's where now we formulate BOMU.
Yes, sir.
Because we took about 3 years to formulate it. Ka gore ne go twe ke ile a rena kongwe ka bo 80 something ga nna le another association in area music go te Botswana artist musicians what.
Yes, sir.
So re be ka gore ga to ga register another organization. Let's meet with those guys e be re bona gore re ira ya but go yone ne gona le bo Chamza Rampholo Molefe, may his soul rest in peace. Gona le bo Duncan Senyatso, may his soul rest in peace. Gona le bo Kofi Sijeso,
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Gona le bo Honorable Rakhudu. Then be re tla re ba bitsa rena le bona ha base. It wasn't easy. Gore ba convince go ba ra no na re batla re re so se sengwe hela. Ska ya nna gore ba hale even though re itse gore ya lona ntse isule ne re sa re ska ra dira ye hela re sa le re isa gore a re tla re kopaneng ba dire ko morago ba khona gore re tla re kopana no re ra an association engwe hela e be go formulate yone BOMU. So ra be re tswelela ka BOMU like ke buile nna ke kgaogane le one mo 2008 ba tsama 2009 10 11 12 ile 2013 ba tla go gonna ba rrakana mokgatlo no lo fomileng ya be tsene ka sekgwa ke go ra ka nna ke dumela gore ke sevile ko BOMU and you guys le batla go mpatika because totela gone ne ke na le success sami.
Yes, sir.
Nako ya my 10 mo BOMU ke itse gore ga go le nako ene ke tswa go tsa motsweding FM.
Yes, sir. I
was
remember.
here for 2 weeks e ga sa ile kwano
Ena le Duma FM, I think.
Ena le Duma FM.
Yes,
ya
sir.
bulela batswana ba bantsi di opportunity like bo culture spears bo dikakapa jalo.
The Duma FM people even went back go gasa gone ko
Yes.
Motsweding FM. It was a big deal.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. I remember.
So le bone bo kabelo ba hella the then president Thabo Mbeki
Yes, sir.
a ba tsa thora le bone ko Germany.
Yes, sir.
That's why go na le confusion ile batho ba se ba sa itse gore ana agriculture SPS ke ya botswana
Oh,
ntse
you
ya
guys
South
were part
Africa.
of that move as well.
Yes,
Wow.
because we invited Cebo Manyapelo come here. Cebo ha atla no ka studio le crew ya bone.
Yes, sir.
Be go ra gore anong ba nna regular ka go South Africa, South Africa a simolaba. It was because of that.
The initiative
And
that they-
yes.
Yes, sir.
So ha batla ba ntwa renya kana re di ra bona di katlego tsa go ha o le mo bong re kopa re tlo re thusa at least re kickstart ha ile gore o tla resign in the middle of your term, you will do that. Ka be ke tsena ko BOMU ka 2013 and then ki nile ko BOMU 2013 2014 ke be ke ba tlogela se tse rana gape ano.
Yeah.
And then I think they took it go itlhalla gompieno mme tse anong e na le di kangkang se dintsi because I kira ha gongwe ha le forma the organization batho ba batlang ba tseeletsa ko pele they don't know gore mme gone go na di kgwetlo tse dintsinya go hela re forma the organization yone bona ba itlela organization e leng gore nya ba khona go ira di awards go monate go a reng
Yeah.
but ga ba itse gore rona go ne go le botlhoko go le kana ka
Yeah.
but ga se yone BOMU hela a santse ke le during my tenure mo BOMU re ne ra lwela arts council
Yes, sir.
ra lwela Cosbots
Yes, sir.
gore act e changiwe act e leng gore ke ya copyright
Yes, sir.
e ne le teng e le ya go te ke ya 1951
Yes, sir.
at one point machina bana ba duplicate my CDs
Yes, sir.
me act ya teng e ne e re motho a itlhala dirilo ja o chargiwa 100 pula ele admission of guilty. From there each and every cassette e itlholwa mo go ene ke 5 pula.
Yeah.
Those cassettes were 3,000. Hardly 3,000 tell her 5 pula me 5 pula o le 100 pula ke dio tselo di a go pusong
Ga di tlo go wena.
ga di tlo go gonna.
E le gore yone anong e neelwa gore
That Chinese guy was charged 100 pula and then abe go balwa ma 5 pula a di cassette tseo. And re be re fila gore mola o go re ga o ire o pesepe gore I can commit that offense.
Yeah, and get
Because
away with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when now ne ralwa and then at one point re ne re le ko parliamenting gore a ke go lebisa dikgotsa tsa gore
No, ke a
ha re
tlhaloganya.
ha re tla re formulate bo BOMU and ebe re lwala le bo Cosbots ne re la gare ga thankge ntseng jang re ne ra latela mapalamente gore re go ba kope gore ba dumang le act a ka e tla be ba ne re tsena go ene ya go balwa ka yone ha ba le mo breaking re bua le bone one by one gore kopa gore le go dumang le act ya Copyright and Neighboring Act because agree music wa rona le mo dirilo no le diwa hala re sa duelwe batho ba o dirisela go sena special mo sa re boela. So those are my contributions le bane ke na le bone and then go tle ga tla ko morago ga tla bo bone bo zenzele ko morago le bo Masi bo Sabelo bo DVD and other guys ba ta banna ba joina but I think in a transition ele monate but hey gompieno
I want to ask about that now gore mekgatlo e ke teng when you were an active musician kana go sa teng ne se but you were able to make a living. Do you think mekgatlo ya are doing what they were intended for?
No, they are really not. Kana na kwa rona ne re khona go bo culture. By then go na le culture. Re kopa bonyenyana ba go ruta le tsone di artist ka music re tla be re kopile batho go ta go workshop a di artist gore ha ola artist maitsholo a gago ha ola artist o tshwantse go dira jang o tshwantse gore o rekise music dio tse tshwale tsone tse re dumela gore di ungwela di artist.
Yes, sir.
But gompieno ga gona sepe se leng gore gongwe di artist di ka supa gore di a benefita mo mekgatlong because ga gona sepe se o tla utlwa go tenya me BOMU ya hale e dirile workshop e ruta ka sele ante BOMU ya hale e tso go advocate di artist for this and this and this and this go re ke mo e leng gore o tla utlwala go gantsi ala ka tsone di awards gore go na di awards tsa BOMU and then quiet go na di awards tsa BOMU and then quiet
I want to talk more about BOMU because there's a press release that came out yesterday where the president of Botswana Music Union, Phempheretlhe, has been suspended by the executive committee. This comes after the president issued a letter requesting accountability of funds and sponsorships concerning BOMU awards from the year 2023 to date from their consultants, Total Music Group or Events Lab. Lusokwane requested a detailed breakdown of verifiable documents supporting the total funds received from all the sponsors including but not limited to DBS, UPIC TV, and Okavango. The revenue generated from ticket sales, SMS revenue, a copy of the contract between Total Music Group and sponsors of specific awards, among others. I say this to you, Honor, as someone who, I'm sure you are not ignorant of what's going on in those spaces because, or you are a musician through and through. You'd like to see what you started. Developer, when you see a press release like this, what immediately comes to your mind?
Is a sad story. I can't comment on this. Why? Because as honorary members, they should let us know. They should notify us, and they would have notified us. And issues like this one, so I can't comment much on this one.
Okay, let me move it away from this one specifically. Do you see BOMU, as other musicians are calling it, looks like a money grab situation? Or anyone who is in the committee, and like a musician, I'll blame myself a little bit because I wish we were more active and more participatory. How active you can change and say, but because I think it came to a point where we thought people who are there, more exco, ke di hustler ra le tseng gore e bile ga ba ise ba letse ba bangwe ga ba itse la sound ke batho ba gore ba bona an opportunity ya gore if I have this thing I can then go and use it go di ministering as a way to enrich myself. I don't know if you have similar thoughts or how we lebella as an entity. Do you think it's reaching the objective tsa gona go uplifter and badnetan getting the musician or it's just an opportunity for the hustler tse re di bona di tsana gona?
I don't know because kana nako ya rona re nna le mo go teng strategic plan mo e leng gore a ke re gompieno ka bo lebelela gore mme gone ha ba tsene mo officing ba tsena maikelo a bone ne le gore ba batla go dira le
ka re di awazela go
ya so sa go nna jalo ba se dirile so ga ke itse gore maikelo a bone ne leng ha ba tsena mo officing maybe go na le dio tse ba di dirileng tse le gore go rona ga re di bone mme bona ba di itse maybe ha o ba botsa they will be able to tell you
no taba check ba ba ira mo sephiring that. So what do you think it needs to happen go ne gore BOMU at least get back onto track, or do you think it's too late for your negore it's back on track? Because it seems year in year out go buiwa ka di award hela some time ago I think Bob Masine ba le moting go buiwa ka the funeral cover. I think there was talks about those little things saying gore di buiwa go di memorial servicing ha musician e tlhokahetse but nothing ever really happened. So akitse o bona e khona gore boele on track and what type of things need to happen gore re busetsa mokhatlo to better days, because right now it just looks bad for everything.
No, I think go tswa the objectives tsa mokhatlo. I think maybe ha gongwe batho bona ba le gore they are in the forefront ya mokhatlo ga ba itse the objectives tsa mokhatlo. Mme nna ke dumela gore it's not too late.
Yes sir.
Mokhatlo sa ntse o ka boela hela go tshwantse gore o bone teng o bo benefit tsone di artists like o bua ka bo funeral plan.
Yes sir.
So se le gore dumela gore ha ngwe di artist kana da tlhala gore artist ele ga itse sepe ka gore gona le leso gona go mo go teleleso mme a go teleso go na le so se go teng phitlo.
Yes sir.
And then ha mokhatlo o tshwana lo tshwantse gore o bo itse gore anong o emela tsone di tsa go tshwana le tsonetse ga gona le funeral plan ha batho ba tlhokahetse ga go simolole go tsutlaganngwa go kgaramediwa batho gore ba koleke go tweng go itse gore nyame go na le letlole
Yes, sir.
le leng gore le ho le establishitswe leng gore go tsewa mo teng gore go thuso ya masika a the artist e tlhokagetseng.
Definitely.
Those are the things tse gore le tsone hela ha ba tsona ba utlwalla ka tsone, they will start now respecting BOMU gore nyame BOMU e dira sele.
Now, I think you are very diplomatic about it, which I understand. I want to feel how I don't know the drastic change. Something as pure and as beautiful as this thing being turned into so saying the artist. I mean, Cosbots is doing its thing.
Yeah.
About paying people. I mean, my SMS and we would like to thank you guys for that. But I think BOMU is one of those things saying what I just wish we could find a better way. I want to ask you a little bit more now about engaging Hormente for things like airplay and making sure Batswana you have first priority over Batswakwa, which is something Sailor I think was initially what you guys were fighting for.
Yes.
Are we winning?
We are not winning.
Yes, sir.
Merape, we can't say we are doing much.
Yes, sir.
Because in this instance, the advocacy, it's also go BOMU as an organization of the artist.
Yeah.
Ke gore eska ire gore government a ska ta ba se ka issue ne ya airplay.
Yes, sir.
Because we tla gore nna ke mo advisory committee ya Cosbots.
Yeah.
But ha o lebelela ha go ntshiwa di report we tla gore madi a mantsi a go ntle. A go ntle because
ba nela hela ba sendela
ba patelesega gore ba nele. Why? Because our radio stations di tshameka music go ntle. Kana remember Cosbots one ke go duela artist e duela gore music one o tsamiki me yana le gore di artists tse di go ntle ke tsone tse di letswang thata mo ga se mathata a Cosbots ke mathata jaanong a di radio station tse leng gore mokgatlo tswana le BOMU no sentse gore o eme ka dina gore na government a di instruct gore no airplay ya lona tshwantse gore enne jana le jana said that the artists are di benefit because kana those artists eno gore madi a go tsone tota they are well established artists me ha le gore so se ne se ka emelwa ka dinao ke so se leng gore ha se metse ka dinao ke ene government ka sebele sa gago ke so se leng gore se ka dira gore di artists tsa rona le tsone di kgone gore di benefite di kgone gore di nele matshelo a botokanyana but we can win that through yone Botswana Musicians Union. Yes.
So ke yone tshwantse re be lobby.
Ke yone tshwantse re be lobby le gone e sa robale bosigo le motsegare because now we have a youthful minister o le bagane. I think he will be understanding all these things ka pela because o setse a itse gore go diragalang in the industry and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. No wa re follow mo Twitter.
Yes.
I'm sure wa qaba. Because entse ke ipotsa gone gore okay fragmented. It was something Minister Tips used to say a lot. Hey, you guys are fragmented. You know, and I hated that word.
Yeah.
But then when you have an organization like that that's supposed to be doing that work, it's a diriano. We are doomed. So today I think this should be a call to all musicians to join BOMU.
Yeah, ba go change us.
Ba go change us
go tlhoba kwala mo di Facebookung it will never help. Go tlhoba bua mo di radiong it will never help. Aba join bone be go change. If they feel the current regime is not doing things all right, aba intse ba tsene bone ba phike mo kgatho e ko batlang o ko re batlang go ronne teng. We go ene gore o tla re benefit at really the artist.
Because the window of opportunity is here. Gona suspension ba foeto the election go check. Now I'm definitely going to go check it out. I'm going to move quickly to the football. You know Somerset he was the one who recruited you to come through to Township Rollers. The PR. How did you learn how to do PR? Is it something Twitter or you know, we say enough about the club, you know how to, you are very fluent, you know, you are orator. How do you get into PR now? Because you have so many other things.
I think it was through the platform ya BOMU. I could or BOMU,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
artists, you know, they are always political. And I was able to control them. Mora na kwanda go ke bua le bone. Ke tsena mo dirediong ke a ba buisa ha ba na le dikgotlang le ke a ba buisa ke. So ene o na le bile yone platform yo gore ha le gore o khona go bua jana le di artist.
Yeah.
Re dumela gore o ka khona gore o re thuse le rona go teaming.
Go teaming.
So ha ke tsana go teaming tla le gore no go teaming bile go motlho because o lebella le team ya la go e tswang tele gore e dira jang. O lebella the weekend schedule o bona gore go ntse yang o kai gompieno aka ne re bua ka funeral cover.
Yeah.
Go Township rollers as we speak ha ona member o na le funeral cover ha o tlhokahala go na le madi a tswang go hitla ha o le member
wa club
of bona fide member.
Yes, sir.
Go na le madi a tswang go hitla go na le discount mo some chain shops tse leng gore you are entitled to ke dio tse nne ke dumelang gore di motlho go dira but ko Township Plus di a dira apart from the football go na le tsone dio tse leng gore di dira di branch tsa rona gompio re taskile gore every year ba sone gore ba ira sengwe to the community in a way ya gore re rekise team to the community.
I want to get into the sad part first when it comes to Township rollers. Ke rena le ntlo ka go mo goditsane ka kwa go na le ka go dibase di ba kanyetswang teng ka kwa ke la rena gongwe ke aka kwa yana ke itlhela ile gore ba manorolla sticker sa Township rollers mo baseng nngwe da ele selwa sa khuranyo a meno mo majiteng a mangwe mo gore team go iragalang. And now the topic is back again about owners versus teams versus societies.
Yes.
You know, I want you to explain it to me like a child. Society, le team, le owner. Why o ke tla nka re go nna le dintwa tsone tsena tse re di utlwalang mo netlaneng. When they say someone is an owner of the team, do they really own the team?
No, yeah, be an investor.
Yes. Owner. So the society owns the team.
Go na le society, right?
Society
Township Rollers Football Club is a society.
Okay.
Understand? Now, ha re setse re tla re kopa dithuso because now to run a team nowadays is very expensive.
Yes, sir.
That's why let's say the investor we have an entity here called Township Rollers.
Okay.
Yo wena o ka dira madi ka yone. Mme mo go dira madi ka yone, wena o bo make sure gore team ye e duela ba tshameki.
Yes, sir.
E na le di owners. E fulfill the game ira. Then wena how le an investor wa tla bo okay fine na mo go dimo ga gore ke dire team yana ke duela gore re budget ke ya the whole team. So nka dira jana nka reka merchandise ka o rekisa nka dira. There are a lot of things o ka di dirang go leka gore o dire your investment mo teaming.
Yes, sir.
Ke sone se diragala. So like o bua ka basa gore ne nga porlwa ka yere. The gentleman on Ernaleno o tsere Township Plus for 10 years. Early investor.
Okay.
But he made a lot of money. Because when I the business when I dirisa ka ga go restrict.
Go tswa mo tumalanong ya lona le as a society. Yes, sir.
So tla tlhala gore ha go ntse alo re forma a management company. Ye leng gore mo go yona management company Township Plus as a society ina le a certain percentage. Le ene mo goebi o na le a certain percentage go na le body ye leng gore Township Plus e emetswe le ene o na le ba go emetseng. Me ha o kgaogana le Township Plus wa so mo management company. Why re na le management companies because the commercial entities ga ba batle go ikamanya le di society. A ke mo etla reng ka moso a commercial entity tsentse 3 million mo society ka moso bo tlo ta no sky se le chairman ba ngwa le se ba tsile ba ta ba re tswa no ke rena no di chairman ga gona po account la madi ala tswang ko di sponsoring.
So what rules govern the society? And who is the members of the society? Is it like a miniature board ka boyone? Ye leng gore ya change from person to person. And how do you keep the core of your society? Because for me it always sounds like a mysterious entity. I get go nna ke ka
kore
pa.
a kere society tla tla di na le di constitution tse di harologaneng mme ha ke tsa constitution ya township rollers society se na le executive committee right ha se na le executive committee ana batho ba ke bona ba eleng gore ke banga team ye.
There's documentation for this thing.
Yes. Ha se na le executive committee ba e leader yana ha investor ratla o khona go tla ka batho ba gagwe le yena. Now ha ba kopana nteng gore mo executive committee ya township process society e kopana le investor be ba nna le board.
Okay.
Ya gere di shares tsone society so una 20 wolo una 80. Understand?
Yes, sir.
But wa go ntsha batho ka society le sone be se ntsha batho ka. But ha go ntse ya lona investor a le teng rona re le society tiro ya rona e motho ke go laletsa maloko gore ba reke merchandise be gaming ha gona le se ba dira se to support the investor.
Yes, sir.
And contribution rona ke ana ke yone goodwill.
Yes, sir.
Ke goodwill e leng gore re tla ka one re tla nna re gore township plus ke team e leng gore half of the population ya Botswana e setse morago. Wena ha o le investor o batla go tsharabola dipuka tsa gago o ka khona gore o dire madi ka yone. Yes.
So 10 years, what happened with Mr. Shah? I mean, why don't we see longevity? We see longevity in Sundowns. We see longevity in Orlando Pirates. I mean, there's never any longevity with our investors and our clubs. I mean, 10 years is a long time. I'm sure it was but can we speak to that? I don't know if you're able to speak to specifics. But what happened in that relationship? It looked beautiful. It was moving. They were the coolest in the country, you know. And then all of a sudden, it looks like, for lack of better words, you know, but it was so beautiful. How do we get to that?
Because with our former investor, ha go tla ga bona ba tla gore yanong a tse rollers I own.
Oh no.
In kore ha o no bua ka Sundowns is
totally different.
Yeah, is a company ya ga Remotsepe.
Yeah,
ke team ya ga it's a company in Tsiela ja. Ja na tsena mo township.
It's like if the society had its own money completely like that. Worth Mr. Motsepe. If they had like their own funds, they wouldn't need investment. I get.
Yeah. So, like you are saying, ane gore go generate its own money. Negaski go na invite the investor to come.
Yes, sir.
Jaanong kana ha o bua ka township rollers, o bua ka team e leng gore ke team e leng gore e na le history e go teng.
Yes, sir.
You remember gore ha e simollo ka 1961, e simoloswe ke banna ba neng ba ga toropo e. It was not something sa motho a le mongwe hela e simolotse ke banna bona ba ne re ha ba chaisa be ba itlosa bodutu ka go raga bolo and ba bangwe like bo Phempheretlhe bo Rempatane be ba tswa ka mogopolo wa gore go mo make a nna team why can't we register it?
Yes, sir.
Be ba register this thing e be nna team e be gore ka gore batho ba ne ba bereka mo teng ba ne ba tswa ko mahelong a harologaneng bo tsabong bo tswapong. That's why it all over ba tswa ko bokala ka ba tswa ko molepolole ko bokanye. That's why all over ebile supportiwa countrywide.
Yes, sir.
Jaanong ga marola se bata ba re resha ha ile gore wa re ha o sa ne le team e gore ano we own wa re tlogela go botoka gore re tlogela re ka tsara dumalana le
How did it even come to that? I mean, why is it the detail? It's agreement. Well, what do you think made him think that was a possibility?
No, kana re khona go akanyetsa go pele ha re go no go ntse jang. But concern ye ne gore marola se mangwe na ba ibua ka diko ba kana monna has this team maybe he's aging, therefore o ka nna etsa e be after 2-3 years 4 years aba e rekisa and ha it's really company ntse a rekisetsa ska o khona gore a ba re okay fine ya no ke team ya me ke I change maina ya no ke bitsa something else.
Yes, sir.
Hela for example like go netlile ka Bloemfontein Celtics.
Yes, sir.
A gro itse gore ne a tsewa re go ke bana ba la mo Portuguese be ba rana ba bona gore no ba heditse ka yone ba rekisa
rekisa status
ye ba rekisa status mosadi ola ba change ba bila e hudisa go Bloemfontein a etsa a isa go Durban
ya no ba take and drag go gana madi ga tole ka go rekisa status gape a se busetse go Bloemfontein
so ba ne ba akanya ba Township Rollers ba ne ba akanya tsone di utse gore kana e tla be re ka mosebele once upon a time there was a team called Township Rollers so ga re itse intention ya monno gore after 10 years a ba ro batla gore anong team a etse ene ya gagwe a letlelo gore a etse ano ene company ya gagwe so ke gona ga nna le mathata teng ha bebe nna kanya gore nya merra o re itlhetse re ntse ano ka mpo a tsama ka dio tsa go ba tsa di ba sa tsa sengwe sengwe a tsa sengwe but khomo re tsaya le gore a ke re gone go ka tswa mo motho nna ela motho ona le moa wa setho are no this teaming ke tsitse a nkisa ona a sa itsege I don't think lo yana before Jagdish ya tla mo Township because no itse rona motho go teng Jagdish
ya no
yes and ona se tsana di contact tse di ntsi up to bo Egypt ko bokae but re dumela jalo gore is because of Township
because kana you end up in both the Champions League
yes
botsa gore ke mang nga team yo travel a team
exactly
yeah no there is some return to owning the team I think Ronaldo Baswana sometimes because we think about the players we're more connected with the players so we're always hearing about payment disputes and all of that. Can you say there is money in football though?
No, in our country, totally there is no money. Me gongwe e tla ra bontse go ya go tla na le madi mo teaming ya rona. Kore as a businessman, ha o tla go tsa entity tsona le Township Rollers. Wena spectrum sa go sa be se le broad. Like ki bua ka gore di connections tse mo nola nile le tsone because of the team di mo diretse in his business netla
yes sir
ena ga lebelle madi ala gore am I going to gain some money go na le dio tse dintse a di gainang apart from capital
yes sir
yes
is Colombe boy still playing for you guys?
Yes, he's still playing.
Hato abatu ake Etihad. Hato ngako.
Nyara yo.
I think I saw it on social media. I think he's getting better with time. So, but how open are you guys to selling players? Like, how does this usually work, Mobotswana? Because a lot of our players are seeming I want to talk about the business of football. Is it easy nowadays for Botswana to get out of the country and be sold? Because there's a lot of movement. But players, playing outside of the country, how easy is it for them to get exposure like that?
Total kana how lebeletse Township Rollers se tswa gakala ka go exporta di player even ka time yona ga re go buiwang he will rather take his station where gona ba pega player ra isa go bo Pirates o itse kana kwa bo Phenyo Mongala kana kwa ya bo Jomo Matlhapi and other guys le maloba jana ka window ya January butswe Township Rollers inside player tse thudile Morocco go yone team e leng gore bonye nna e joina ha simolla tswa kwa two players di ile gone go so di dira batho ba ka nna 3 ba tswa mo Township Rollers ba ile ya mbalo bona le go Kaizer Chiefs di tlhoko na tswa mo Township Rollers le ene o ile moro ya no ba 4 ba tswa go Township Rollers so e yone ntse ga
ra win of call really parents say kana majita ba outside the country I'm just loving it because I'm seeing this free flow gore majita nkara go tsamaiwa ya no o simolla go nna le litho on our football just recently though there's been these investors coming in again go bua ka investor ratata o mo ona reka team a ba e busa bo Restanton Fredericks le bone gare ba utlwalle ba ona sepethata go South Africa but ke ba ya no da owning one of the biggest brands in well not owning but I guess investing into one of the biggest brands in our football. Do you see these things as positive changes for our football, or do you think ha go ka nokiwe thata pele ga motho a reka ba busa team gape go no I mean it's not a good look. So what do you think about these sales or these investments that are happening currently?
A ke ra gongwe kana la bele sa dumalana kana go mo tla itlhaela gore ke lenyalo le mo lenyalo le meangwe ga go dumalano ha pele ga go dumalana go na le di-clause tsa go kgaogana jalo le jalo mme nna ke ne ke dumela gore go nna le investora mo di-teaming tsa rona is a very good milestone mo go rona re le team tsa rona because one kana ha re na le investor mme ke tse ya rona gompieno Township Pros re bua ka gore motho e leng gore gona ana o hirile batho ba ka nna 54 mme ha ne le rona e rana re le society ne re ka se le madi a go hira batho ba le kalo that's number one. Number two a ke re la berile ha le nna ba tsebele mo setela di-targets tsa go tlhabolla le yone team ka bo yone le gore o ka dira eng le eng go mo go hella go ira gore team tsa rona di tsholetsege le seemo sa tsone hela bathata ke gone gore e be go etla mo tseleng ha go sa dumalano e be gore a gore go a kgaogano mme hela gone go na le investor mo di-teaming ke so se sentle thata seno se ka godisa even our football.
The Botswana Premier League le yone go kile abo e nna hela le mo dikuranteng about I don't know if it was the board ya thing or whatever. What is your relationship? What is the team's relationship with the Botswana Premier League currently? Because league is simulotayano. We're expecting, I guess, everything should be smooth sailing on because the game is on. You know, the halftime performances these days. Cross pollination between entertainment and your football, which for me, keepers are why I want to in the first place. So the relationship between teams, from your observation, between teams and the Botswana Premier League currently in Tija.
Ke Botswana Premier League o tla tlhela gore ke di-team tsa tsona tsa Super League le tsa First Division di affiliate go BFA e ba di affiliate gape le ko Premier League but ha league le one yana rona re le team tsa Super League re ranwa exactly ke yone Premier League relationship ke yone eo but ha go tla tlhela gore ha go makgwera a dirwa yala ke go tlhoka gore tsamaiso e be le gore se tso morago sentle a ka nne go kile ga nna but ke dumela gore gompieno ana e roba le ke ditlhokwa yanong ka gore a ke re gang go e bona thata mo
no go iketlile
so ke go mo eleng gore ra go itumela rona re le ba Premier League ga re motho o ka kgona go dira sengwe le sengwe sentle le go na le go qotswa and le go nna ba tsebe le bona gore go khupilwe ha kae and then you move on so gompieno e ntse jalo but o bua ka entertainment go mo sa re buile ka gone bogologolo re buile ka gone bogologolo ba ngone ba tsaya gore okay fine ka ro yo ene ke artist that's why a batla gore a batla go tlogoletswa dikatara mo mmetšheng me ha go ntse jalo go re go kgona go imolla tsone di-team ka botsone go kgona go imolla gore go ne le bo stampede go ne le bo because ha le gore game simola ka 3 o'clock o bo ra batho gore ka 1 o'clock the bands di simolla go tshameka mo stadium o mongwe o rata music o rata football wa ka ke rata music bile ke rata football ja wa go ipolla gore okay fine ka 12:30 ke tlabe ke ntse ko stadium ke tle ke lebelle di band di tshameka up to 3 o'clock di game e simolla go mo ka bogone mo le batho bangwe ba ile gore bana ba sa rate football ba go ya because bona ba rata music ba ya la ba tsana kwano ba ngwekilwe ke music go tswa ga ba hela ba nna le kgatlhego ya football ya lo motho ha ka pile o ka petse ruri le ka moso music o so wa tla o bona gore o kgonne go wina ba bangwe ba ileng gore they were not in the football realm but because of playing music ba tsile jaanong ke batho ba bona so go ntle gape go ira gore le batho ba ile go le bone ke ba football hela motho ha ba kala motho o ipola gore ke tla kwa ke a go nna 3 hours before the game ke a go borega let me just go there go setse 30 minutes gore game e be simola ke yona nako e gore go nna stampede mo di gating because mo le mo batla gore ke tsene e be ke nna re ha ke tsena e be ke tlala gore team ya home and then the game ya simola but ha re rotloetsa batho e be re ba rotloetsa le ka entertainment go ira gore hemele mo diong tse dintsi tse leng go di ka diragalla di-team tsa rona ntse di ka diragalla di-stadium tsa rona.
Awesome stuff. I absolutely love it. Potso e nka beng ke ibuditse go ntleng ga interview ye tota ke yone. What does Phempheretlhe mean? Because now I see you as Phempi. Mama Zala ke hatata bogile who is Phempi? Yeah, no, because tata na go mo lepole re go bitsa ya lo a bona re go itumeletse. So what does Phempheretlhe mean? And how did you get the name?
Phempheretlhe is a sound. Yeah, e leng gore e ka produce ke liswana.
Khankare ya Phempheretlhe. You see, I'm trying to imagine it. I get it.
At the same time, ba khona gore ba re ba boke dikgomo tsa bone ba dirisa the name. So I think ne ke ira form 1 ne go ipidiwa maina helana ke be ke ipitsa le maswe hela.
No doubt.
Yes, and then gore a ke rutse gore majitantsa gore ba bata go nkgoba ka lone
ba gonna mo go lone ruri.
ke be ke letsa be ke re okay ke lone go montana ga ke itse gore la go ntirelang ko pele
Yeah.
ke bua ka ine leng gore gompieno is my official name.
Definitely.
As we speak
Yes,
le
sir.
tlala gongwe le gongwe. So go tsile hela jalo le go ya hela go itlhala gompieno.
No, I absolutely love it. Your wife is pretty famous out here as well. She's a dentist,
Yes.
and you know, Bramorata Muri socially, she's got her own following for what she does. Because these days, Dr. Hela, I guess you don't have to be a musician to be a brand. You know,
Yeah, no.
in what you do, if you do it well, you are ultimately a brand. How does it work with two celebrities in the house? Is there ever an ego check or hey? Big guy noise. You know, how is it when you're both celebrated in the homestead? How do you guys treat it?
No ene o tshwantse wa itse le ene o tshwantse go tlhaloganya go itse gore I'm the head of the house.
Yes, sir.
But anyway ga ke dikgoka mo go gone. But le ene o mpha tlotla hele e leng gore e ntshwanetse
Yeah.
as a person.
Yes, sir.
So rona we are moving smoothly hela gona bothata hela le maloba ha ke hiwa doctorate.
Yeah.
Ke mo ga ebile o ntse o nkgatella ka
You know what I love a lot as well is that you're not. She loves outfits clearly, and you are always in the pictures, really matching. Who do you willingly do it, or does she persuade you?
She's always pushing me.
Because like the matching outfits, and it always looks so brilliant as well. So is it because you are fashion inclined, or
No, again. Yeah.
Oh no, awesome stuff, man. Shout out to Dr. Figa, and thank you to you as well, man, for coming through and having this chat with us, because I think sometimes people take it for granted where we are right now with music. Maloba ki blome tse hela na ke SMS e tsena. Ke bona hela madi a tsena hela. No, nearly two tigers. Okay, to tell the truth, you kila bona blomilela bo bona 20 G tsena. Go na le majita ba e leng gore ba gona ba bona bo 70,000 pula tsena o ntse o blomile hela o ntse. I remember a time where I was complaining about how much nearly bo 75 pula ka nnele. It was unimaginable where we could be here right now.
Yeah.
I don't know when, because you saw it before. I mean, I came into the industry in 2002. You were on 1992. Could you ever imagine a time where, after 3 months, just because Pinaga Oyala Moritu, do you think they understand how much work had to be done for them to be able to access such good things?
No, I think I can do it saying an association ya music. It's tshwantse gore anto ra bana ko lapeng.
No. Both ba opetse.
Yes. It's tshwantse gore e ba dio tse tshwantse gore go tle ka thuto. Gore they should work hard for their works.
Yes, sir.
Gore gompieno ana e be di kgona gore di ba duela. A ke gompieno ga ke perform thata ka ne ke perform.
No. Yeah.
But Leroy wa ntlatlhella.
Yeah. The Quality Tunes thing, Vision Brew.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Vision Brew ya ntlatlhella.
Yeah.
Ha ke ntse ke tla be ke bona ya latlhela go 15 yana. Ha ke santse ke re ke a riana Cosbots ya ntlatlhella.
Yeah.
But it's through the working hard of us as artists.
Yes, sir.
Gore dio tsele ka moso. Ga sa tlholo kgona go performa e bentse ha music as long as music go tla bo santse o tshameka le bana ba gago, they will be getting something from your works.
Absolutely. I absolutely love it, because you guys, crawled so we can walk, and right now kids are flying, and I just hope they don't take it for granted, and that's why we have these conversations. At least the perspective, you shouldn't take what you are getting right now for granted. fight for better.
Yeah.
You know, try and make it better for the next generation. Say right tumela and we re tla tswela re ntse re go lebeletse mo re tla le nna ke a support the township ya gongwe masita ka lone ka ha ke itse re go iragalang a team e tshwareletse kana go iragalang. But yeah, re tana re ntse re lebeletse. So thank you so much for joining us, sir.
No, thank you. But the last thing ke gona gore re na le performance ko Molapo.
Okay.
Ka di 5 tsa ga.
You're performing?
Yeah, I'll be performing along the side. Yeah, bo Tebo Homoloi.
Oh.
And other local artists like Bo Johnson Peto and other artists. So ke a lela letsa go le wa reka di ticket le go bona performing live.
No, Tebo Homoloi go ra re ke grot man.
Yes.
Ke mona le ko Molapo, he was with Boss Bizo. I think that was after the press conference.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in a little bit late. How ubuka Pempi or Singanga? Rikong, the 5th. We'll check you guys out. Thank you so much, sir.
No, thank
and
you.
that, ladies and gentlemen, leads us to getting healthy on the PODICAST. Don't move.
Different identities. Podcast with BSCAR.
Okay, you're still on the PODICAST and you're hanging out with your boy SCAR, and this is the part of the show where we get to talk a little bit about your health, okay? Health is wealth, so this is why we do this every single week. After our big interview, we have Dr. Rukara from Med Clinic in the house. Good morning. Good afternoon. It doesn't matter.
Good evening.
Good evening. It doesn't matter. But whenever you are going to be watching the show, yeah, whatever that is for you, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. How was Valentine's Day?
No. Hi, Mo.
We can leave it.
I'm
You can
being
just say-
hijacked. It was good.
Okay, it was good.
Yes.
You just had like a flashback of
No,
how good it
it's
was.
like-
I can tell.
It's a question
Okay.
for kids. I'm
Okay.
grown.
All right. No, I feel you. I
No,
feel
but
you.
my husband did spoil me. so.
Okay, he came through. Big up, mister. Big up, big up. All right, today we're going to be talking about something that usually occurs around this time. As you can see, I have my jacket on. You clearly don't feel, any cold, but there is a little bit when storms like this pop up because it's been raining for the past couple of days non-stop. And, asthma is what I'm essentially talking about. And I just wanted you to briefly just talk a little bit about it so that everyone fully understand. How would you define asthma in like simple terms?
So I think the definition for asthma can be difficult because, number one, it mimics a lot of other diseases. But basically, it's a disease where you have certain symptoms such as cough, shortness of breath, chest tightness, as well as wheezing. And what we mean by wheezing is when a person is breathing out, they produce a noise, which is different from stridor, which happens when you're breathing in. So in terms of what causes asthma, it's basically chronic inflammation in the airways. So your airways is basically where when you breathe in, as the air moves into your lungs, the structures along the path, those are called your airways, to finally get to the lung tissue, they become hyper-responsive and then they contract, meaning they become smaller. And when they become smaller, it becomes more difficult for one to breathe, and especially for them to breathe out to take out the air from the lungs. Okay. So it's a chronic disease affecting mostly the airways, yeah.
Okay. I'm talking about the weather now, but like some people are actually, I guess, born with it because some people have it from like a very, very young age. What causes cancer? Well, not cancer, asthma, and what are the specific triggers that that make it actually worse?
So you're right to say asthma can present at different ages. We usually divide it into childhood onset and adult or adolescent onset asthma. And there are various things that have been linked towards patients or people developing asthma. First and foremost, there is a genetic component. So if you've got a family history of asthma or allergies, so this can be in the form of allergic rhinitis, which we commonly call hay fever, even other skin allergies or anything like that, then you're at higher risk of developing asthma. Then the other triggers are mostly environmental, which can be either pollution, common environmental things such as dust, house dust mites, mold. A certain number of people can also have what's called exercise-induced asthma. So when you're exercising, whether you're breathing in cold air or humid air, that can cause the airways to contract. Change in weather, like you mentioned, now it's been a bit humid and raining in Botswana. So you find people with asthma who are predisposed to changes in weather can also get the asthma triggered. As well as viral or bacterial infections, those can also trigger the infection, asthma in patients. But I think the thing that is being recognized now is what's called the hygiene hypothesis, where we're finding that in developed countries, there's more incidence of asthma compared to non-developing countries, though the incidence is rising more because we're urbanizing. And hygiene hypothesis basically means if you raise your child in very clean environments, that's actually a higher risk of developing asthma. So if you go to the rural areas where kids are running around eating mud, exposed to dust and
around the smoke,
yes,
like where
they hardly get asthma or allergic reactions, because it's believed that the earlier your body is exposed to a large number of bacteria, the less likely you are to develop these allergic diseases, including asthma. So unfortunately, being too clean has been also associated with our kids developing asthma at an earlier age as well.
So it's like a rich man's disease.
Yeah.
So so what I already double-edged sword,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
You know, if you're surrounded, so you don't build like the resistance in your body
Exactly.
for to be able to stop yourself. Wow. So what are the signs? Are there any signs that someone has asthma apart from the chronic one? Where I remember we pushed one kid in a wheelbarrow once in Molepolole, and that's where you expect everyone to be resistant. But this guy was playing soccer, and it hit him on the chest. The ball hit him on the chest, and then all of a sudden, and then that's when we all realized, this dude is about to die here. And then we pushed him on a wheelbarrow, took him, he went and got his pump. What are the early signs that someone probably has asthma?
So I think the signs of asthma can be divided into mild, moderate, and severe in terms of how a patient presents. So the milder things, patients may complain of chest tightness. So imagine that every time you're actually taking a breath, it's more labored. It's almost like your chest is not expanding enough for you to breathe. Cough is a common cause, a common symptom, especially at night. So some people actually have worse symptoms at night, which you call nocturnal asthma. Shortness of breath, so you are very short of breath. You're finding difficult to actually, even though you're breathing, you feel like you're not taking enough breath. And then the wheezing, which we can hear either via the stethoscope, or you can actually hear a person when they're breathing. And most of the time the coughs are productive because a lot of mucus is produced by the airways as well. And then now when you get to the more severe cases, which may sometimes be missed, the wheeze and the cough and everything can be missing, but we have what's called a silent chest, where now the wheeze is the bronchial constriction airways is so tight that you're no longer even hearing the noise. But these patients usually present with severe shortness of breath, cannot complete a sentence. So when you're talking to them and they come into casualty, you want them to speak, but they're struggling to even complete a sentence. And then we use other things such as blood gases to check how much oxygen and carbon dioxide is actually in the blood. So the symptoms can vary to mild to life-threatening.
So what about people who have asthma and smoke? I think they think they're living on the wild side. I know a couple of people, and it never makes any sense because they'll have their pump, but also be the ones with the packet of cigarettes. Your camera is that one. You can talk to them right now. Because I from what you're telling me, they have no business smoking.
I think people who smoke, my thing to them is there's zero benefit to cigarette smoking, except maybe for one or two diseases which actually get better because of smoking. So if you're asthmatic and you smoke, it's a constant trigger to your airways. So your symptoms are going to be poorly controlled, and at one point you may fail to control them. So stopping smoking is important.
Guys, I know
and it's not just them who smoke. So even being around people who smoke as an asthmatic, we call it environmental exposure, can also be bad for the patients as well.
So if you don't care about yourself, at least be considerate. Especially if you have young children around. I mean, there's people who even smoke in the house, so, or smoke in the car. That also, I think, just don't trigger people and mess up their health, because You don't care about yours. All right. So, what are some of the effects to your day? Like, how does it affect someone's quality of life? Because, like I say, we know extreme cases, but are there any things that people go through when you're going to sleep, like the nocturnal one that you're talking about? I guess it keeps you awake at night. Are there any other effects to your life that someone should know about?
So, just like any chronic disease, because of the chronicity, quality of life definitely is affected. So number one, these are patients who need to always be taking their treatment. So when it comes to asthma, it's not only the rescue pumps. So when they walk around with the gray pumps, those are rescue. So you actually need to be on medication that prevents you from getting attacks. So that's a daily dose of what we call what is now the medication that prevents you from getting attacks. So that's taken daily, and then the rescue pumps are used in between whenever you feel like you're actually getting symptoms. So that's number one. Number two, activities can be limited. So some people, especially who have exercise-induced asthma, they find that if they do anything rigorous, it triggers an attack, and that can affect them in terms of running or other activities, going to the gym, things that we take for granted. Another thing is that when you are asthmatic, it can be induced by stress and other environmental triggers. So you may find you avoid certain environments, whether it's air, it's the pollen or dust or anything else. So they become very anxious when they go into such environments because they're not aware. And unfortunately, asthma doesn't give you warnings. So it's an attack that can happen at any point in time. Your family, your co-workers, your friends need to be aware of the disease so that when you do have an attack, because sometimes it can suddenly become very severe that they need to be able to assist you. So you need to educate all those around you. And not only that, the health burden and cost involved with it. So as the treatment is advancing, unfortunately, the medication cost also becomes higher. So as we improve the treatment, the cost involved in treating the disease is also quite high.
Right. And in Botswana, is it accessible, like treatments? In Botswana, is it easily accessible? And just to close it off, we can talk about prevention and how to manage when you have the condition.
So treatment is available in Botswana, and I think studies have shown that it's quite prevalent. Almost 10% of the population can be affected by asthma. I think there was a study done in 2016 where they looked in schools in Gaborone, ages between 12 and 13 as well as 6 and 7. So they did a random study and looked and diagnosed asthma in about 15% of those kids. So it's quite prevalent, and like I said, the more urbanized we're becoming, the more likely we're going to see people and children developing asthma. In terms of sorry, what do you ask?
Prevention and management. Yeah, because the mamas are cleaning the houses too much now. When the kids just go outside just for like 2 seconds. So prevention. Don't clean.
When we look at the risk factors, then you can see what's modifiable. So if you know definitely certain things trigger, whether it's pollution, pollen, dust, you avoid those triggers. If it's exercise-induced, you need to work around that. Definitely now with the link between cleanliness and everything, and even cesarean section. So kids who were born via C-section at a higher risk versus normal vaginal delivery, because the child actually starts getting exposed to bacteria during the vaginal delivery as they go through the vaginal tract versus those who were born clean in a C-section. So all those things can be some of the things. Obesity has been linked to asthma, so maintaining a good weight can also be something that can be used to manage the disease. And also vaccination. We know bacterial and viral infections can trigger asthma, so those with asthma or people at high risk need to be vaccinated against pneumonias as well as influenza during the winter seasons. And then managing the disease will require close interaction between the patient and their doctors to make sure their symptoms are well managed, they're on the proper dose. And I think one of the main things that I feel many doctors and patients need to be aware of is inhaler technique. A lot of people with asthma do not actually know how to use their inhalers. So this should be checked at every visit with their doctor, because you find many people walk around with inhalers, but the medication just ends in their mouth and they don't actually have the proper technique in terms of using them. So it's important for doctors and patients to make sure that, because it can be life-threatening if not done properly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Dr. Rukara from Rumamed Clinic out there, Kako Block 7. Thank you so much for joining us here again this week. And I hope everybody takes this advice very seriously because, come on, guys, you only have a set of lungs, you pay the hell. So just take care of yourself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our show. We'll check you out next week, same time, same place right here on the local corner, YouTube channel. Yeah, tongue twister. I'm out. It's SCAR. Peace.
People of different identities. Podcast with BSCAR.